Aaron.
Here.
Why didn't you say it the first time I said Aaron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron.
You done messed up, Aaron.
Aaron is here, everyone. Thank you for joining me for more SPTV. Wherever that is certainly true. I'll tell you who done messed up this time. The staff members at the Scientology organization in Austin, Texas. Scientology and the internet does not mix well. And for an organization, Scientology, that takes its security very, very seriously, they should really stop putting their business on the internet, especially as it regards David Miscavige, their diminutive, tiny, angry, toddler-sized leader, who is avoiding service in several trafficking lawsuits. There's also an active grand jury investigation going on into obstruction of justice by David Miscavige and his henchpersons. And Scientology staff members should stop sort of announcing when and where he's going to be. I mean, at least that's the advice that I would give. But what do I know, guys? I grew up in a cult. Okay, what are we talking about? We are talking about the Church of Scientology in Austin, Texas, and the fact that it looks like they are finally getting ready to do the grand opening on their giant new, massively expensive building that they definitely do not need. Actually, this might be one of the buildings that they've had for a long time, but they had to move out of it so that they could renovate it. That David Miscavige said was going to open last year in the first quarter. David Miscavige announced that he either said it was 3 or 4 new buildings that were going to be opened in the first quarter of last year. And it turns out the number of new buildings that they opened last year was precisely 0. So Miscavige is now having to open these buildings to do the grand opening, yank the ribbon and everything, even though they don't even have all of the staff members that they need. Anyway, let me get to some of the evidence that I've got to show you here. Okay, this is first a Facebook post from a staff member named Jackie Jackson. Christy, so this shows you that just as of a couple weeks ago, the Scientology org in Austin still did not even have their minimum complement of staff that they needed to open this new building. Okay, Christy Christy Uzarowski from Buffalo, New York, is on her way to Austin. She's a second-generation Scientologist, a 17-year HCO staff veteran. Guys, HCO is Scientology speak for basically HR, the HR department, human resources. We need help with a temporary space for her to stay for a couple weeks while she gets a job and gets established fully. She will need a place on December 26th for about 2 weeks, or ideally until the opening. She has a car, she has no allergies, and she likes cats, dogs, and kids. All right. Please let me know if you can help, please. Let me opine for just a moment on the fact that the Austin Scientology organization, it's just as small as any other Scientology organization, but it's one of the few organizations that, based on its location, should be almost hands down the largest Scientology organization in the United States. It is located directly across the street from a major university campus. Scientology organizations, if you care what L. Ron Hubbard says, and I don't, but Scientologists are supposed to, the key component for where these things are supposed to be located is in the area of maximum possible foot traffic. Most Scientology organizations, people are telling me to check my connection. My internet connection is as good as it can. My audio is out. You guys, are you serious? Testing. Okay, guys, on my end, it looks fine. I'm sorry. I just got to keep going. The Austin org is, now I'm really worried about my connection, you guys. Is this bad? I'm getting a poor Wi-Fi signal, but the fact is I'm hardwired. My internet connection is hardwired. I'm not on Wi-Fi. Damn. All right, guys, we're gonna keep going. Based on the location of the Austin org building, it really should be one of the biggest Scientology orgs in the country, if not the world. And the fact that there are not enough Scientologists in Austin to to reach the minimum staff complement required to open one of these new org buildings kind of tells you all you need to know about the brilliance or lack thereof of this strategy that David Miscavige, the leader of Scientology, has been unrolling for the last 20 years of building these giant buildings, renovating these giant buildings that the orgs have no use for. Sort of a if you build it, they will come strategy, which is funny because back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, when Scientology was actually growing, it was pretty well known that Scientology buildings tended to be pretty crappy. They didn't spend a lot of money on maintenance. They didn't look very good, but the people enjoyed what they were doing. Scientology, the complexion of Scientology was a lot different back in those decades than it is now. But my point being that even L. Ron Hubbard said the if you build it, they will come strategy is not true and doesn't work in Scientology. Miscavige has convinced Scientologists in this day and age that the if you build it, they will come strategy is the winning strategy. And so for years, honestly, for 20 years, they've been trying to open this building. Now, if it takes 20 years to recruit and train enough staff members and to raise enough money to open a building, there's something wrong with your strategy. Okay, let's see what else we have here. The next one, Michelle Platt, a Austin Scientology staff member. I believe we are waiting on approval of the city for the event permit. Hopefully we will hear soon now that the holidays are over. Now I'm pulling clips from secret Scientology Facebook groups just for the purpose of the video. But the fact is I have some inside sources at the Austin org, which is how I know that the staff have been told the grand opening of the building is supposed to occur on January 13th, which is in 9 days. And the grand openings of these buildings do not occur without David Miscavige being present. The fact that the staff are being told that this event is happening in 9 days and the city doesn't even have a permit. And I also happen to know that the staff are being told this, but there has been no official announcement. They haven't even officially publicly promoted the event. They haven't yet told all the public to drop everything they're doing, drop or cancel all their plans for the 13th and plan on being in downtown Austin for this event. And yet that staff are being told that this is what's going to occur. Okay, so then we have Elizabeth Yari, another Scientologist in Austin, Texas. All hands help with the files. Sylvia, the file queen, help get our files to the new org Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 6, and any day or evening this week. Help is needed from everyone to box up, load, and help transport to the new org. Now, in Scientology organizations, when they talk about the files, they're usually talking about central files, which is a list of everyone who's not a list, actual physical files of everyone who has ever purchased a book or a course or auditing from that organization since the day it was created. The fact that these files and keeping these files and keeping the number of files growing is considered such an important thing in Scientology is part of the reason why it is almost impossible to get off of Scientology's mailing list. There were orders from L. Ron Hubbard to basically never allow the size of the central files to contract. And guess what? When you ask to be removed from the mailing list, that is essentially contracting the size of the central files, and that is against policy, which is why, like I said, good luck at getting off the mailing list. Some people can do it. It's very, very hard. Okay, so why are they talking about transporting the files? Because a new organization simply cannot be considered opened until it has all of its files on site. Now, there's central files, there's personnel files, there's ethics files. They might even casually be referring to the auditing files, but that's not what they're called. Guys, I see you in the live stream about my connection. I'm hardwired into a 500 megabyte internet connection, and if the connection's bad, there's just nothing I can do about it. I just have to keep going, guys. Okay, let's see. We also have, just for fun, and I think I'm going to turn the sound off on this video because it's nothing but the sound of wheels on asphalt. This is a video that the Scientologists in Austin posted celebrating the first trailer load of files being moved from the dumpy remote premises they're currently occupying. Those files are heading to the new org building, and that is considered such a big deal that they decided to post a video of it to Facebook. Okay, let's see what the next thing is. All right, we have this. Sadie Garcia, yes, we will. I believe this comment was in response to a post asking about announcing the event, whether the event's going to be officially announced, whether it can be publicly discussed. Sadie says, yes, we will, but I think we would be silly not to plan on it being in 9 days. This was just posted today. Open to change, but that's what we are going for. Guys, this is such a good example of how horrible the planning is that occurs in Scientology. This is a building David Miscavige announced was going to be opened 1 year ago. The staff are now being told that the opening is going to be in 9 days, but there's no approved permit. There's been no announcement, and the files haven't even been transported over. Now, you might be like, well, maybe they couldn't have transported the files earlier. Maybe the building was under construction. The building has been sitting unoccupied, vacant, and completed for well over a year. Now, one of the reasons these orgs haven't been opened is that David Miscavige is currently in the process, well, at the tail end of about a 4-year-long process of training brand new command teams for every Scientology organization in the world. And this training evolution is one of these evolutions that are always supposed to be finished in the next couple months, but they tell you that, and it goes on for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Okay. The Austin org hasn't even been told whether their command team is supposed to fire home in the next 9 days. This is how bad the planning is in Scientology. And I speak from personal experience. I'm not just commenting on the current evolution. I'm commenting on everything that's happened that I've been able to observe since about 1993. Let's see. And so one of the reasons things tend to go this way is because long-term planning simply doesn't exist. Everything tends to get done on a right now basis. Things tend to be very reactive. Miscavige is having to force these orgs open out of an act of desperation. Even Scientologists, even true believing Scientologists are starting to wonder what in the hell is going on with these empty buildings that are completed and vacant and not being occupied. And what are we waiting for? It's a huge waste of money. The Scientologists have donated millions, in some cases, tens of millions of dollars to get these new buildings completed, and they're just sitting vacant. And Miscavige honestly looks horrible. And when you have so many former Scientologists and former staff members and former Sea Org members speaking publicly about how Scientology is just systemically failing in every city in the world where they have a presence, it forces Miscavige's hand to push open, to accelerate the openings of these organizations. Now, the truth is, Miscavige is the reason these organizations haven't opened years ago. But now he's the reason that they're opening without enough, without even having enough time to plan a real event. Miscavige is both the problem and then the solution, and then his solution always becomes the problem. That's pretty much how it works in Scientology these days. We will see just how quickly they shut down the Facebook group that I have taken these posts from. And once they do shut that Facebook group down, I'm going to have some surprises for you guys. Okay, let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to say about this? Let me see. Nope, did that. Okay, yeah. So on the New Year's Eve event, David Miscavige announced that the new Scientology building in Paris is opening this month, January. So if Austin also opens this month, then that will be 2 new buildings opened. Oh, yeah, I remember there was something else I was going to show you here. Scientology is also circulating a flyer that the Chicago building, the new building in Chicago, is scheduled to open in February, and they are finally promoting that one as well. Well, good luck. There are not enough Scientologists in Chicago to staff the Scientology organization, the new building in Chicago. There's not enough Scientologists in Austin to staff the building in Austin. There aren't enough Scientologists in Europe or the UK to staff, Europe, to staff the new giant building in Paris. One of the only ways they're ever able to open these buildings is by shuffling staff members around from city to city to temporarily inflate the staff numbers, make it look like there's enough people there to run the operation. David Miscavige shows up, yanks the ribbon for the building's grand opening. Miscavige disappears, and all the staff scatter like cockroaches because they don't have jobs. They don't earn enough money to feed themselves or to pay living expenses. And Scientology doesn't pay for any of that stuff. Money in Scientology comes in and it comes up. It does not go down or out. Yeah. There you go, guys. That's all I have to say on this subject. I got a couple more videos to do this evening. So stay tuned, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button if you're watching right now, even though we're at the end of the video. Let's see. Negro says, oh, come on now. Come on now. That was a low blow. Okay. Jeez Louise. Is there any way that he could be served at the event? Yes. David Miscavige can be served anywhere. I'm looking at the live chat. You guys see what he did to me there? He made me say that word. Yes, David Miscavige can be served. That's kind of why I'm doing the video saying he's supposed to be in Austin, so that any of those civil attorney teams, any of those plaintiffs, civil plaintiffs teams, any of the process servers out there who need any more opportunities to serve David Miscavige, keep your eye on the Scientology organization in Austin, Texas. These events occur outside, not inside. A process server would very easily be able to get into the proceedings. It's outside. They do sort of kind of wall it off a little bit with hedges, portable hedges and plants and fences and barriers. But where there's a will, there's a way. All right, let me see. Is there anything else there? No, that's it. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe